Rajesh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you.
Six. Yeah. Hello, everybody. We're just waiting for the audience to fill up. We have just given a small window of 5 minutes before we are sure that everybody has joined in, and then we'll take it forward from there. So give me a few minutes. Thank you very much for your patience. Hello, everybody. So I think we will start with the webinar. Uh, just as a quick introduction, my name is Rajesh Mehta, and I am the manager who looks after business with agencies and DV360 here at Tatvik Analytics. With me is Bismayy, who has got years of experience in programmatic marketing, and he will be speaking and sharing about his experience, which over the years has been useful for many customers. So first of all, I want to thank you everybody for joining in. I really appreciate the time which you have given us. You didn't owe it us to take a break from your work hours and get on here. So we really appreciate the time which you are giving to us. And while the setup looks like I'm going to say something or Bismayy is going to say something which is going to give you uh, a kind of a top-down knowledge. This webinar is more about kind of seeing how you can put programmatic and DV360 to effect it your life. So my invitation here is to you to be in the question as to where DV360 and programmatic can help you and your customers. And based on that, you can keep asking questions. So I've got the chat and the questions window open in front of me. And if there is a question which I can answer immediately, I will take it on and share it with everybody. And if there is a more generic question, I'll take it at the end. And so it's very important for me that you discover something which you can use for yourself at the end of this webinar. And that's what this is about. Yeah, so let me get on to the next slide here. So what are we going to do? I mean, we're going to give you a brief idea about who's going to get value from this webinar. I and Bismayy, that is, are going to give you an idea about the programmatic landscape, what type of DSPs, SSPs, DMPs are there in the market and how they fit in. We will give you an overview of DV360 self-serve, which is our offering, and how you can get access to DV360. And we have a few slides about ourselves also. And finally, we'll give you an idea of the process of how to get access to DV360. So who is this webinar for? Okay, before we get there, let me get a context as to what are you here for. So I'm going to launch a poll and I invite you to respond to this poll. And so based on that, I'll get a sense as to what is your objective behind participating in the webinar. And I'll try to configure the presentation based on that. So I'm sure you can see the poll coming up on your screen. And you can choose the option. So there are a few responses. I'm hanging on. So once this is done, I will close the poll. So if there are some people from our team also who has joined in, please answer the phone so that I know that everybody has voted in. I think we're good. So I'll close this poll. And I understand where you guys are coming from. So I think most of the point of views will be covered in the presentation. And yes, so I look forward to sharing enormous, exciting stuff for you. Okay. So let me jump back to that one slide where I was earlier. So we were here. Okay. I think I managed to close that presentation and open some other presentation. So I will go back to that webinar presentation. So here it is. So who is going to get value from this webinar? It's mainly focused on digital agencies, web agencies, creative agencies, and advertisers who have got champions and experts within the company who can run DV360. So what's going to be the real outcome from this webinar? So what you will be able to see for yourself out of this webinar? Digital agencies will be able to understand how they can take the programmatic platform to their customers, where they can provide additional value to their customers, and how they can get access to DV360 so that it becomes easy for them to take it to their customers. Large corporations who have got teams and who don't have the requisite budgets to get a direct seat can also come to us, and they can also choose to take a self-serve seat and run campaigns both ways. I mean, it can go through us, or it can go through our managed campaign team also. So this is an quick view of how a representation of ad buying takes place. So from the left, you can see how the ads and the money flows, and from the right, you can see how the ad slots flows. So there is a publisher, which could be a website, which could be a newspaper portal. It could be anything which has got a script based, like a DFP script, which goes on and displays a certain amount of inventory and puts it onto the ad exchange. From your side, either as an agency or as an advertiser, you kind of put your ad on an ad server and basically make a bid for this same spot. And there is an ad exchange which kind of optimizes and uses a very complex and a very fast algorithm to uh, give that space which has been provided by the publisher within a fraction of a second to the highest bidder. This is how the basic of the platform is, So, but what happens at the back is much more complicated. You as a marketer are sitting here at one end. There are multiple agencies, there are trade tests, there are multiple DSPs, there are multiple exchanges, there are complex ad networks, and multiple things which you have to go through. Like you would be running campaigns on different types of platforms and at different types of uh, you know reporting platforms you would be using. You would be using multiple ad servers. There would be issues about brand safety. There would be issues about verification and privacy, GDPR compliance, and all this complicated thing kind of makes it a very difficult process. So you as the marketer go through an enormous amount of complicated process. Then at the end, you use API, and then you extract, transform, and load data. Then you make a data lake, and you do the analysis, and then you make reports. Use for all different platforms, whether you put it in Excel sheets or you put it in, a dashboard on Tableau. You eventually are gathering data from multiple sources and kind of presenting to your customers again to go back here and start a campaign again. Now, this is really complex, and DV360 solves a significant portion of this problem. And we have our champion for programmatic, Bismayy, here with us. So he's going to hop on and he's going to tell us how how DV360 and the Google marketing platform does address this issue. Over to you, Bismayy.
Sure. Thanks, Rajesh. Just a sound check if I'm audible, Rajesh.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, great. Can we just move to the previous slide for a second? You have closed it. Sorry, we can't hear you, Rajesh. You are on mute.
I was just praising PowerPoint. It does not surprisingly close at times.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah, yeah. So this is the slide you were looking at. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Rajesh. So, adding on to what Rajesh was talking about, the MarTech and AdTech landscape, which is being complex, and if we look at the different layers, that API, ETL, data lake, analysis, and reporting, these are basically different data layers of activities or tools and technology stacks that we need to have in place if you are looking to run a programmatic campaign and optimize your campaign and basically achieve the customers KPIs or your own marketing KPIs for those campaigns, right? So what we have done is we have also encapsulated most of our solutions around this all layers, which we are calling it the DV self-serve. So there you go, right? Yeah, we can move on. uh, like we were talking about the fragmented ecosystem, we can see the multiple set of verticals that are there in terms of components of the ecosystem, which is like ad serving to search management. Then there is the display, YouTube, tag management, analytics, and obviously the data warehouse, right, which is at the top end of the table or the screen. And below this in the lower part of the screen, you see all the logos from Sigmac to Criteo, from Adobe Analytics to AWS. Now all of these logos basically represent a lot of tools, technologies, and vendors and partners who are working around those verticals, and they may or may not fall across all these verticals or technology stack. That's where Google has a specific advantage, which is they have brought in this GMP, Google Marketing Platform, and the Google Cloud, which is for the data warehousing and cloud technology. Now, both GMP and Google Cloud are natively integrated, so which basically means that you are now able to fetch your data, collect your data, track your data, attribute your data, do analysis on your data, and also report on the data without having any data loss or integrity issues, and also be able to optimize your campaigns at the same point in time, right? So that's the big advantage that GMP or GCP combined brings us together versus different set of logos of tech partners or ad tech partners or martech partners in this particular ecosystem, right? If we move on, so most of you would already be knowing what is about GMP as a connected ecosystem. Just to give a quick background on the multiple set of products or, that are available in the GMP suite, starting from Analytics 360. You must have heard the buzz about Google sunsetting is Google Analytics 3 and or Universal Analytics and moving into Google Analytics 4, which is the future of analytics in terms of privacy, in terms of modeling, in terms of predictive modeling, in terms of um, from a session based to an event based measurement, and so on and so forth, right? For Analytics 360 and Tag Manager basically works on the analytics front of data collections, while for marketing side we have DV 360, Campaign Manager 360, Search Ads, and Studio, right? These are the components or the products that fall under the media suite, which is and we are going to talk about DV 360 today a little bit. Search is obviously for the search management, and DV is for your YouTube, your display, your video, your OTTs, your connected TV, app install campaigns, programmatic guaranteed campaigns, preferred deals, and so on and so forth, right? While Campaign Manager is basically an ad server which provides you added advantage to your DV360 campaigns. Plus, if you want to track a non-Google campaign, a non-Google paid media campaign, let's say a Facebook campaign via campaign manager, and able to stitch the cross platform user journey, that is possible via campaign manager 360, obviously with certain limitations, right? While the other products like data studio and optimize 360, they are for A/B testing and reporting purpose. Now the best part is all of this are integrated together. So GA is integrated with DV360, search ads is integrated with analytics 360, data studio is connected with GA360, and so on and so forth. Now what happens is, like, if we have the data, if we're running a campaign on DV360, the audience or the users who click on your ad and they land on your website, now they are tracked in your analytics 360 for your reporting of your campaigns, and vice versa. Your analytics 360 audiences, which are basically your remarketing audiences or retargeting audiences, can be pulled back into your GMP platforms to run retargeting campaigns, which are obviously uh, high performance in terms of conversion rates, compared to your prospecting or your hello, Rajesh, can you hear me? Hello.
Bismayy, I can hear you now. There was a little bit of a challenge with the audio, but you're back now.
Okay, okay. I think we can move ahead. Was I audible around the GMP platform?
Significant portion of the time. So just we missed the last few seconds, but I think we can move on to the next
Yeah,
slide.
we can move on. Yeah, thank you. And this is the advantage that we are getting in terms of a connected ecosystem where we have data driven marketing. So there was a study by BCG, and these are the numbers that every marketing team or a digital mature organization or even somebody who's in the nascent stage of the maturity would love to grapple these numbers. Like, we have so they say that the study says that if a marketing department in an organization, they use a connected ecosystem such as GMP, they would achieve a 16% average cost savings and a 13% average higher revenue, which moves them the ladder of the maturity from nascent to emerging to connected to multi-moment, right? Yeah, that's a big advantage that we are talking about. Yes, since our webinar today, we are going to discuss more on the DV360 platform. I will talk a little bit about the DV360 as a platform, while Rajesh would be talking about the sales of offering that we have built on top of DV360, right? Right when it started, DV360 was called Double Click Bid Manager, and now it has moved into the DV360 the name yes, the name of the platform is DV360, right? We have 5 main modules you must have looked at. If you in the UI, there is the campaigns module, which is basically for trafficking and media planning and things like that, while audiences is a very core component, which basically has your collection of your first party audiences that you have ingested either via CRM onboarders or via your device IDs uploads, or your customer match list, right? Or your tag based audiences, while there is a full length of third party audiences, which is your DMP audiences that you can buy or purchase from the marketplace that is available and utilize it for your prospecting campaigns or lookalike campaigns, right? Creatives, because DV360 has this ability to build or help you with templatized creatives, both for reach media or for app install creatives or for any display creatives. And there are a hell lot of creative templates that are available in terms of cue cards, lightbox, which you can utilize it without the help of a really a creative designer in place, right? And then there is inventory. Now this inventory becomes a difference when you look at Google Ads and DV360 side by side. We are talking about running not just, yeah, you, yeah, thank you. We are not just talking about running open exchange campaigns. We are also talking about running a guaranteed deal campaigns, which is basically running on premium inventories. Let's say Nestle as a brand running high branding awareness campaign on a website of Washington Post, right? So that's the campaign, that's the programmatic guaranteed deal campaign that we are talking about, with premium publishers. On the insights pad, obviously there is the module which is basically for reporting. There was this instant reporting, whether you can pull off offline reports, whether you want to look at how your placements in your campaign is performing, how your audiences are performed, how the creatives are performed. All of this have standard templates provided within the DV360 UI model, which you can utilize for reporting and optimization. Yeah, we can move ahead. Yeah, little bit into the depth. If we look at why DV360 as a platform is so advantageous or so powerful, because Google essentially has every bit of information on us, right? Once you log into the Chrome browser, once you log into your Gmail, once you log into your YouTube, they have this deterministic graph that they have built around of 1 billion plus users over the universe. And this is basically a cross device graph that they have connected across all these properties. Now I'm missing out on a couple of other properties, like obviously Android is there, and then Google Maps and Play Store is also available. Now when this is all connected, this becomes more powerful when we are looking at having a unique reach, or at a particular frequency, exposing to set of audiences for your campaign, right, without wasting a lot of ad spends. Now in terms of deal types, like we were talking about, there was open exchange, where Rajesh was talking about, where you bid for that particular ad slot at a real time basis, and if you win, you show your ad on that publisher's ad slot, right? While there are private auctions, preferred deals, programmatic guaranteed, and traditional tag based. PG deals have definitely are going to be one of the future for us. I will talk about a little bit why so. Essentially, it is because of the third party cookies going away, and you might be already scratching your heads is whether programmatic is going to still remain as powerful as it was before, because advertising essentially relied on third party cookies, right? On the inventory side, we have premium display top publishers across a lot of verticals. There is Google's own preferred TrueView and Google preferred packages that are built internally with respect to certain countries, or certain, let's say a sports package for which can contain about 100 plus publishers, where you can run your open auction campaigns, right? And then there is social. Within social, we definitely have LinkedIn, where you can run your LinkedIn campaigns, right? LinkedIn in display sponsored campaigns. For data, we were talking about first party data, which is your CRM, email, past purchasers, Google Analytics 360 audiences that you're ingesting back, the behavioral segmented audiences, right? And then you have your second party, which is mostly the Google second party data, which is in market affinity based segments and custom intent, contextual based segments, and so on and so forth, right? While third party, there are about 1 lakh audience segments available from Lotami, Exilate, Axiom, and a lot of other DMPs that they're in the market. You just don't need a lot of technology there. Their audiences are already available. You need to select them, pay for them, and use it in your campaigns. So that's what DV360 is all about in terms of devices, deal types, and inventory. Now this question, which definitely comes to us a lot of times, is like how Google Ads and DV360 compare to each other. And I think Rajesh, you would have a wonderful answer to this. Why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, thank you, Bismayy. That was useful, and I'm sure that the people who are listening to us and watching this could see the scope of what programmatic offers. It goes into the nooks and corners of internet, places where no other ads have gone, and like they would stay in Star Trek. So I mean, in every nook and corner of internet, and can target an enormous amount of audiences which are very specific with a specific creative. This is the amazing thing which Bismay was sharing, and I hope you could see the value of that while he was sharing that. I will give you this a little bit of a quick comparison between Google Ads and Display and Video 360. Bismay, you can jump in anytime you want to add something to this conversation. Okay, Bismay, you heard me, I guess.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So, what is the fundamental difference between Google Ads and Display and Video 360? First and the foremost is the inventory. Google Ads is limited to the properties where, or the publishers where Google Ads has been incorporated. Display and Video 360 does not just include Google Ads and YouTube. It does include Google Ads, Google Display Network, YouTube, and things like that. But it also includes about 75 other ad exchanges: AppNexus, OpenX, Rubicon. There are many ad exchanges who have got massive arrangements with different publishers, and that inventory becomes available uh, to you when you are running campaigns on Display and Video 360. And I know that there are a lot of people who might be participating, who are agencies and who are fighting at the bottom end of the funnel, and are focusing on, say, Facebook or Instagram to get their conversions. So the fundamental difference between these type of platforms, Facebook or Instagram, and even Google Ads to a certain extent, is that when we are fighting at the bottom end of the funnel, Display and Video 360 just changes the dimension of the funnel. It kind of makes the funnel much bigger. So you have larger number of possible audience to play with, leads to target, creatives to pub kind of, I suppose, display or even play in terms of video. Second is programmatic buying. Now, yeah, I mean, like, you also do programmatic buying in Google Ads when you make a bid. But in Display and Video 360, there are multiple options. You have an open auction, you have a private auction, you have a preferred deal, and you have a guaranteed deal. It's at the bottom of this slide, the different types of deals which are possible. So, for people who are not indoctrinated into the programmatic world, I'll just give you one line descriptions of these. What we do in Google Ads is that, if I can say so, I mean, like, wo thoda bhagwan bharose, once you put a bid, it is left to a Google Ad exchange to kind of display it in different places. Now, that is the first option. That's an open exchange where you basically let it go, and you have bid. Now, say, so for example, you have got a unique technology for, say, zipping files. So, I mean, that the zipping world is quite vast, and everybody has got zipping tools, and there are free zipping tools, but you have got some unique technology which kind of makes a very big difference. Then you would like to do, say, for example, with CNET or some specific websites which are focused on selling this software. So you do a programmatic guaranteed deal with that particular website, where the website guarantees a certain amount of impressions. You can also do a private auction. So, say, for example, you believe that all tourism, your tourism product, or your customer who is selling, say, Canada tourism, uh, would believes that CNN is a possible target audience, a target property where they can display the ads. So in a private auction, there'll be a limited number of people who would participate in it, and the highest bidder also wins there. But you will not be competing against another, say, a tourist destination. So makes life a little bit easier. So these are the direct deals which you can do with the publisher. Either you can make a call to them, make the deal, and then process it to DV360. This option also is available in DV360, so you can do a deal within DV360 also.
We
So
send them an RFP. Yeah,
yeah,
Rajesh. We send them an
correct,
RFP. Yeah.
correct. We send them an RFP. Now, in terms of bid type, so I'm not seeing many questions coming through. So either I'm failing in terms of getting you excited, or I'm doing a very good job out of it. I hope it's the latter one. But I'm open to questions. I see the chat box is quite empty. You're welcome to ask questions. Please go ahead. Okay. So bid type, like I said, this is a platform which is going to increase the volume of the funnel. Okay, so it is a CPM preferred platform where your impressions will drive a large number of target
Awareness.
audience. Yeah, it will increase the awareness. It will kind of, so your eventual conversion may happen through some other kind of a process, but if you want to get a large number of leads and a large number of people interested in your product, DV360 is the platform. Now,
By
it
the way,
offers.
Rajesh,
Hmm,
sorry. By the way, just to interrupt, DV360 also has outcome-based buying, which they call it as CPC-based buying, just similar to Google Ads, right? So
correct.
if anybody is also ready to run their performance campaigns, display performance or video performance or YouTube bumper ads or action ads, then you can definitely use the outcome-based buying or CPC-based buys as well, along with your CPM buys. Yeah.
Yeah. Creative. So yeah, I mean, here you have HTML5 native videos. So I'll give you a couple of examples in creative. Say, for example, we had a customer called Eurokids. You must have heard of him. They are a preschool chain, and they wanted to run hyper local advertisements. That means they wanted to run uh, campaigns where a particular pin code should be shown a unique ad with a unique model for with a different language. Okay, but they wanted to run the campaign across India because they've got about 300 franchises across the country. So that's possible through native ads. Okay, so you can create that dynamic creative and link it to a pin code, and your ads will be displayed based on where the person is having a look at the property, the publishing website. Makes a big difference. There is another customer of ours who is a legal firm, and they get most of the customers who have had an auto accident. So they have got an chat bot which interacts with the possible target lead a couple of times, actually interacts in a very rational way using an algorithm before taking them to the landing page. So the possibilities of creatives are huge, and obviously you can do amazing amount of campaigns on YouTube.
And
YouTube
the
and
best part was, Rajesh, the chatbot was integrated into the creative, right? So
yes,
it is not a chatbot on the website. It was a chatbot integrated into the creative on any
great,
publisher website. So
correct.
yeah.
Makes a big difference. Makes a big difference. I mean, there is a massive amount of limitations when we stick to just doing Facebook, Instagram, and Google Ads. Display and video 360 widens the horizon as to what you can possibly do. Yeah, I mean, there will be one question which will be there in the heads of all the people who are participating in the audience. How much does it cost? So we are going to get there. So don't worry. The suspense will remain for some time, but I'm going to answer that question also. Yeah. So then the targeting, yes. You have first party audience, you have third party audience, you have affinity, you have in market. So every type of audience is possible in display and video 360. Obviously, I mean, if I just want to differentiate between first party and third party audience, first party audience is the audience you own, like the audience from your YouTube channel or the email addresses you have. Third party audience is something which you purchase. There is a question here which says that I don't think we can create such creatives natively in DV360. It is possible to create such ads in DV360. So I guess you are talking about the chatbot. So the chatbot can be created not in DV360. It has to be used in the created in the Creative Studio.
Yeah.
So Abhishek,
So combination of tools. Yeah.
yeah. So it is a combination of DV360 plus the Campaign Manager plus the Creative Studio, which is offered by in the GMP platform. These three things put together. The chatbot ad can be created in other platforms also, but not within DV360. But you can run these ads within DV360. Yeah, so first party, third party audience I did mention. So affinity audiences, like say for example, if you are targeting, you are selling second used automotive vehicles, and you want to target in market audience uh, with people who own iPhones. So these type of combinations are possible in terms of targeting. You can also make custom lists and behavior targeting. First party, third party data I've already spoken about. Dynamic creatives I've already spoken about. So what will become possible is something which is far beyond what Google Ads or Facebook or YouTube, and everything is in one consolidated place. As Bismayy had pointed out earlier, that it, irrespective of the device, irrespective of where you want to show the ad, you will be able to reach the right target audience. So there are a couple of ways you can get access to DV360. One is that you can reach out to Google. Google has its criteria, and there is a significant amount of spend which you have to commit to Google, and a certain number of campaign managers have to be trained under them, and you can get access to a DV360 partner ID from there. Okay,
And obviously you
so
have to be GMP certified.
yeah, you have to be GMP certified. So there are a list of criterias, and if you meet those criterias, you can always go to Google. Okay, we can put you in touch with Google also. That's also a possibility. The other option is getting access. So I'm going to read this verbatim. Getting access to the power of DV360 and Campaign Manager through our account, where you can run campaigns independent in the native interface of DV360. So under our account, you will get access to DV360, and you will be able to run campaigns the way you want it without any interference from us. So you will have all these three things available. So you can get your DV360 Campaign Manager and double click rich media. So Abhishek, so for you, I mean, this double click rich media you did mention, this is also in the offering. So Campaign Manager is the ad server. Now, display and video 360 can be independently run without the requirement of a
Yeah.
campaign manager or DRM, double click rich media. But if you want to run campaign manager alone, that also is possible. But for running the double click rich media, you have to associate it with the other two.
Three. Yeah.
Okay. So this is the demand side platform which allows you to select the audiences, select the properties or the publishers where you want to publish the data, set the frequencies and things like that. Campaign Manager is where you put your ads, put the tracking code, push the ads, get the reports. So this can be even anything from an email campaign to a,
Social.
any social
Social.
media campaign. So you will get your consolidated data here in Campaign Manager because it's an ad server. Uh, and in an ad server, it's going to track everything which you have published as an ad anywhere. And you will get a consolidated report, which will make a very big interesting interpretation as to what email campaigns worked, and from based on that email campaign, who went to your homepage, and when we displayed our DV360 ads to those people, what happened. You can track the entire journey and give customers and yourselves beautiful insights as to what is possible.
Yeah, you can use CM to track your Google Ads campaigns as well, the search
Correct.
campaigns.
Correct. Search campaigns also. Yeah. So everything. I mean, being an ad server, it will do whatever is not whatever. I mean, whatever is legally possible in
Questions
terms
and
of
clicks.
tracking.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So what is the power of DV360? Vast reaching inventory, best in the class target audiences, all types of deals is supported, optimization and integration. So other 3 points I've already spoken about, like the inventory is vast. Okay. There is no other. So first you have 75 ad exchanges integrated into DV360. There is not one single corner of the internet which DV360 will not reach. Okay. So if it is someone in Badoi in Uttar Pradesh who has opened a cell phone, he will be accessible by DV360. If there is somebody in Kanyakumari who has opened his tablet, he will be here. Okay, so that's the reach. Target audiences. See, Google has done all the research and created target audiences, custom. There is a huge amount of knowledge which is available with Google, which they are making available here in terms of affinity audiences and in market audiences. And you can harness the power of this. You can use the combination of these also. So say, like I was
Yeah.
mentioning, iPhone users who are looking for used cars, that's a target. So basically, say for example, if you are selling Euro Kids, you are looking for mothers also, right? So people who are purchasing Pampers or something like that. So people who are shopping for diapers are potential candidates for Euro Kids. So those type of cross understanding is possible when you are using DV360. All types
And
of deals, I
obviously
think.
yeah, obviously the demographics and geographic
Yeah,
segment
yeah,
is, and income based segmentation, that is also
yeah,
available. And you mentioned iPhone 13 audiences, you can definitely do
correct.
all the
And
ultra.
then you can, if you want to exclude Bismayy from the audience, you can do that also.
Yeah, yeah. Although I don't own an iPhone, I'm an Android user.
Yeah, so all types of deals are supported, and optimization and integration. So here frequency capping, pacing, while I mean, we don't give it so much of importance when they are mentioned in a slide like this makes such a big impact. Like say your frequency capping and pacing, your potential target customers, if that target customer sees the same ad in within an hour 5 times, it's going to be creative fatigue will set into such an extent that he will choose to kind of block your ad out. So it's very important that you can pace your creatives with a proper frequency and capping. So you can do minute based pacing out here in terms of DV360, which will make the user journey very smooth. Plus you can kind of take the user on a journey after the person has looked at the broad idea of the product. You can go down into a little bit of more specifications, then you can go into the next creative, which will be some say user delight. Then you can take them to the conversion. That entire journey is possible because of the power of frequency capping, pacing and things like that.
There's an interesting example that if you have, if you're running a programmatic guarantee deal campaign and also an open exchange campaign, right, at the same time, and possibly you're targeting the same type of audience because the audience may be visiting the same publisher that you have done a programmatic guarantee deal, right? So Google has this, or DV360 has the ability to exclude that particular audience if they have already been seen an
Hmm.
ad in your PG deals, right? Now that translates into a lot of media spend savings, and this optimization spend optimization report is also available to us, which you can utilize it to know which publishers do you should target and which publishers you may not target, in like looking at your CPM rates or your CPD cost per day rates, right? So that's a big advantage in terms of media savings when you are looking at running campaigns across YouTube, display, and programmatic guaranteed, and so on and so forth.
Very useful, very useful. So just imagine, I mean, you will end up showing the same ad for no reason whatsoever to the same customer. It becomes a nightmare of, epic proportion. It kind of brings in creative fatigue to such an extent that the customer might just choose to not buy that product. But with the what Bismayy shared, it makes it very powerful to run campaigns which are effective in terms of what creatives the audience sees, and you can take them on a journey effectively while reducing the cost. Yeah, now this is an important slide. So we as Tatvik, where we bring in value when we provide you access to DV360. So when we provide you access to DV360, we don't expect you to have a minimum budget. Okay, so we have a basis of minimum fee. We expect you to have a certain standard budget for spending, but there is a minimum fee that is required. If you need, so you can get a care of partner ID, which is the highest level of an account where which is directly linked to Google, provided your spends are substantial. So these substantial spends vary, but we expect, say, for example, for a partner ID to have minimum of 2 to 3 crores of spend per year. Okay, so minimum 3 to 5 crores of spend to get a partner ID. This does not apply when you want to get an advertiser account from us. So an advertiser account is a account which is under the partner account, where you have flexibility in terms of budget. You have the native interface of DV360. You have all the audiences, you have all the inventory, you have complete freedom, and you get it up and running within a couple of days. So we have a minimum fee here for 50,000 rupees for getting access to DV360. So that is the minimum entry level per month, 50,000 rupees per month for getting started onto, at a very low budget onto DV360. So that we offer immediately, okay? And it comes from a company who is so we've been around since 2008, and we have been a Google partner since there. And we are one of the leading Google partners. And we do everything from Google Analytics to programmatic campaign management to, we do partnership with many agencies, right from Turkey to Serbia to US, and we provide the value. And we are spread across the globe. Offices here in India mainly, and then in Singapore, Dubai, Toronto, and US. And we provide services in all the three stacks which come with Google: marketing, technology, and analytics. And we have found our value in the intersection of these, where we kind of take the data from analytics, run some predictive algorithms, and give you audiences which can be pushed into marketing platform, or give you predictive landscape of the audience, so that you can kind of rank the leads and make a plan to reach out to them effectively. These are some of the other services that we provide. And these are some of our customers, so that you just get a sense. This is just for you to have confidence that where the offering is coming from is a company which has committed to providing value to the biggest web property in India: Times Internet, MX Player, NDTV. So so this is, I mean, from every corner, the biggest of the companies and the smallest of the agencies also are with us. So yeah, so basically this is a prepaid account. So what you need to know is you got to validate whether you want DV360. DV360 is not for companies who want to spend 1 lakh rupees a month or 2 lakh rupees a month. So this is for someone who is going to have a substantial spend. So you have to understand that you want to run this campaigns on DV360 with a reasonable amount of spend. I won't put a number on this right now. You have to accept Google policies, which has got very stringent and strong policies on political campaigns, cryptocurrencies, pharmaceutical products, and things like that. So we will run you through the agreement when you when you are basically joining us or taking the license from us. And it's not a license exactly, it is access from us. And you and I will have to make an agreement where that we will not do a certain set of advertisements and campaigns which are not as per Google guidelines. It's a pre-filled account. So say you send us a certain amount of funds, we basically put it in our system, and that automatically goes into DV360. You get access to DV360, you run your campaigns, we monitor your spend data. So 95% of whatever you give us is immediately loaded onto the platform. 5%, sometimes there is an overrun and is held because of that. But before that 5% is used up, you need to replenish the account, and this cycle continues. There is no limit in terms of the number of times you can send the money. So it can be 7 times a week also, and it can be 5 times a month also, or it can be once a month also, whatever you choose. And only question here, and you get alerts on a certain level when you have spent a certain, say, 60% of the budget, when you have spent 20% of the budget, and that's how it works. And this is a application which Bismayy and his team has built so that this monitoring is possible, and we can provide you access to the platform. So what do you get? You get advertiser level read write access. You can set up as many insertion orders, line items as you choose. You can upload and manage as many creatives as you want. You can upload first party audience, third party audience. You can generate and schedule reports. You can negotiate and set up direct deals with publishers. You can also use SDFs, which are structured data formats for uploading bulk campaigns. What you do not get is partner level access. You cannot set up new advertisers. You have to come to us. You have to come to us to create new users. You cannot rent this account or sublet this account. You cannot transfer the entire account to another account. And you do not get access to APIs. So this is what it's all about in terms of getting access to DV360. Now, Hardik has got a question. For publishers, I have to monetize applications using ADX. So how can I use? I have ad manager GAM account, but do not have access to ADX. So how can I use ADX services to monetize ADX services? Bismayy, ADX
Yeah,
services.
yeah, I did answer. Hardik, you will have to reach out to the Google publisher team, because that's a separate team from GMP team and the GCP team. Since we are not authorized partners for Google Ad Manager, so he is basically looking at a Google Ad Manager 360
Okay.
or Google yeah, for the
Yeah,
publisher
good.
side.
Yeah, so I think we have spoken to Hardik earlier also. So I have shared the challenges in that. You cannot use, so DV360 and what you have in mind, Hardik, are totally different things. My ad spend with Google Ads right now is more than 500K. Can you help me? How can I connect with Google? Yeah, you send us an email, rajesh@tatvik.com. We'll definitely put you in touch. 500K US dollars per month. I think, yes, it's a very substantial amount, but that same amount needs to be spent in DV360 for you to get.
Access, direct access from Google.
Yeah, yeah. Can we do A/B testing in DV360 with this access type? No, I don't think you can do A/B testing in DV360 with this access type. A/B
No,
testing is
yeah,
A/B
so
test.
creative testing, yes, definitely it is possible, Rajesh. And also on
Oh,
campaign experiments, you can run experiments, Abhishek, all the time, where you can have let's say 2 line items created. One would be the actual A version, and the second can be the V version with a little bit of change in terms of either pacing or bidding or a particular type of audience that you want to target. So yes, it is possible.
Okay, so creative A/B testing. Okay,
Yeah.
wonderful, wonderful. So those were the questions. If anybody else has any question, would be happy to answer. But thank you everyone, everybody. Thank you very much for joining. Okay, and I
Uh,
want to thank you. Yeah, Bismayy,
Rajesh,
you
there
were
is one
saying.
more question that has come up from Prakit Setti. Is there
Yeah.
an additional cost for BLS DCO in DV360? Okay. Uh, right. Do you want to answer this?
No, you go ahead.
Uh, okay. Okay. Fine. So there is no additional cost for running BLS, obviously, in DV360, right? I believe you are talking about the YouTube BLS, which is a feature within the DV360 account. We just need to check. It was previously whitelisted for certain of accounts because it was running in beta, but I think you would be able to run it basis the necessary budget requirements of that particular BLS campaign, which is like for YouTube, for one response, I think it is $5,000 that you need to spend, and so on and so forth. I mean, not for one response, for one question in the BLS survey. DCO, again, dynamic creative optimization. There are two types of that. One is obviously the data driven creatives that you can run directly in DV360. Again, you don't need additional cost there. But if you're running something like a feed-based creatives, like we were, or the chatbot-based creative or something, which gets triggered via, let's say, if you remember, a typical ad that was being run uh, once during the IPL, Cadbury was running that if your team cracks a 4, then you get 4 runs and something of that sort. Those type of scenarios, you would need to have access to Creative Studio and DCM, and yes, there's additional cost for those two tools. Others has a
Yeah.
question,
What?
Rajesh.
Yeah, and that one. What is the difference between going direct versus Tatvi? So going direct is a Google choice. So Google will evaluate your proposal as to whether your spend and your company fits into their profile of a company which can get an direct access to the account. So there is a spend commitment, there is a certain GMP certification required, there are certain criteria which Google has laid down, and only after that Google chooses to give you a seat. From Tatvik, basically, it's we basically are looking at agencies who want to slowly scale up. So agencies who want to slowly scale up to go under Google are people who will come under Tatvik. So spend commitment is one big criteria, and a very experienced and a ready team is the other biggest criteria which you have to take care. Hope I answered your question, Adarsh. Yeah, so I'm going to wait for a minute more. Uh, will the team be walking us through the DV360 platform today? Not really. I mean, we are not going to take a look at DV360, but you can write to us and we'll definitely, Pratik, so there is no problem. You can send me a mail and we will do the walkthrough. It's not a problem. For freelancers, if the campaigns are seasonal, how will that work? So do we have to spend minimum 50,000 per every month? So for freelancers, that is one challenge which is definitely there. The minimum amount will be applicable. There is no workaround on that. So you look at like an investment of 6 lakhs rupees per year to get access to DV360, and your campaigns can run about 4 to 5 months also. Maybe they are seasonal, but you have to factor this amount in your cost to your customer. This was a question from Abhishek.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll wait a minute more before for any other questions. So I do see a lot of people are still there in the attendees list. But thank you very much, everybody, for joining in. I mean, really appreciate your time. this is a privilege. It's an honor to have the opportunity to speak to you. And thank you to Pragya and Shelja for arranging this. Our marketing team has done a good job out of making all the arrangements and making sure that we sent out the invites and set this up. So thank you very much to our marketing team along with the audience. And one final quote before we say goodbye. It's an quote from Albert Einstein, which I want to paraphrase. And it is, the thinking that has got us so far is grossly inadequate to handle the problem of the place our thinking has got us to.
I couldn't understand.
जो सोच तुमको अब यहाँ तक लेके आई है, वो सोच यहाँ से आगे लाने के लिए आपको adequate नहीं है. So, whatever you have, the thinking which has got you so far is inadequate to handle the problems of the place the thinking has got us to. It's a very good one.
Right.
Thank you very much. You have a great day. If you guys are driving, drive carefully. Safe day. Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Rajesh. Thank you, guys.
Bye.